The day I realized I was living under two completely different systems, God's law and contract law, my whole world tilted. Because here's the question that hit me like a punch. If a contract needs agreement to be lawful, when did I ever agree? I started tracing it back to the very first document most of us ever get labeled with, the birth certificate. In the eyes of the state, it's a vital record, an identity document that ties you to benefits, schooling, healthcare, taxes, and everything else in modern life. The National Archives even describes vital records like birth certificates as foundational government records used to establish identity and legal standing. And that's exactly the point. It's not just paperwork. It's a doorway into a legal identity. But a baby can't consent. A child doesn't knowingly enter contracts. A child is pure consciousness, awake, alive, but not legally agreeing to anything. Yet this system wraps a legal framework around you before you can speak your own name. As I got older, I watched the world operate like a machine. I saw government programs giving money to people who were sick, struggling, or unable to work. Programs like SNAP and TANF, which are real taxpayer-funded assistance systems managed through social services. I'm not here to shame anyone for needing help. I'm saying I noticed something. Money was moving, and it wasn't free. It always came with terms, rules, compliance, a relationship. A contract-shaped relationship between a person and the state. And deep down, I couldn't shake the question. Where is this money actually coming from? And what does it make us in return? Then life did what life does. I fell into the system myself. I became a number on forms. I became someone with a case, a file, a status. And once I was inside it, I wanted to know the truth. What control do they think they have over me? What are they using to justify it? And why did it feel like I couldn't access the basics of living without providing a service or asking permission? If the government is supposed to serve the people, then why did it feel like I was serving the government? That question lit a fire in me. So I did what most people never do. I started reading. I went through law, government documents, policies, terms, fine print, every trail I could follow. And I found something that stopped me cold. My social security number, this thing we're told is just for tracking earnings, was connected to corporate structures. Not just one. Layers, links, entities connected to entities. Like a chain you can't see until you pull it tight and feel it cut into your wrist. I went hard into it. 2 weeks. I found hundreds of corporate names. Over 800 in that short time. Then more and more connections as I kept digging. It looked like a pyramid of administration, profit, and paperwork. Whether you call it a scheme or a system, one thing was clear. It wasn't built for spiritual freedom. It was built for control through compliance. And my spirit couldn't unsee it. So I took action the way I believed a man under God's law should. With notice, with process, with truth. I attempted to handle my property matters directly, cleanly. No games, no fraud, no pretending to be anyone other than the name on my own documents. But I kept getting ignored, passed around, stonewalled. And when you push against a system that feeds on silence, it doesn't politely debate you. It tries to break you. Fear tactics showed up. Intimidation. You're wrong. You're crazy. You're committing fraud. Pressure from every angle. They tried to make me back down because intimidation is cheaper than accountability. Then they escalated it to court. They accused me of fraud for discharging contracts, even though I never claimed to be anyone else. I responded with a notice. Ignored. I followed with an order, signed within their own system structures, still ignored. And then the court date passed. Now I'm sitting here with documents, witnesses, and names, real names, connected to entities involved in what I believe was fraud against me, and attempts to set me up at the same time. And in common law principles, under the idea of higher moral law, obstruction of justice isn't a paperwork issue. It's a moral line in the sand. Here's my point, and I need you to hear it clearly. A government that claims to serve the people cannot operate like a profit-first corporation and still pretend it holds rightful authority over a living man or woman. If someone harms another person, that's a matter for court. Real court. Truth-based court. But because we're an institution is not a moral reason to dominate. It's an administrative excuse. This is the collision. Legal contracts versus spiritual covenant. Paper identity versus living soul. The state says you are a record. God says you are a being. So I'm asking you, plain and direct, do you know what you're signed into? Do you know what your documents are used for? Do you know what you've been trained to accept without ever giving conscious agreement? If you feel that tension in your chest right now, don't ignore it. Read, research, ask better questions, pull your own records. Look at how vital records are used to access basic life systems, education, healthcare, assistance, and ask yourself what that dependence costs in autonomy. And if you're ready to talk about building real community solutions, common law courts, human rights principles, and exposing modern-day slavery that hides behind paperwork, then stay close. Because the moment you stop living as a number and start living as a sovereign soul under God, the whole system has to deal with you differently.